Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, host of the State of the Saints podcast. Coming up on this edition of the State of the Saints podcast, we break down the Saints' first injury report of the 2025 season and the status of edge rusher Chase Young. Keep it locked right here to the State of the Saints podcast. Let's go.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat? What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Let me back myself up just a little bit. There we go. I really do appreciate your time. Shouts out to everybody that's watching this right now, listening to it, wherever you are, wherever you may be. On this edition, we're going to be talking about the Saints' first injury report of the 2025 season, and also going to be talking about Chase Young landing on the list and how his status could affect week one versus the Arizona Cardinals. But once again, special shout out to everybody in the chat here. Special shout out to everybody at home as individuals file in for this episode. Really do appreciate it. Special shout out to everyone that checked out the latest episode of the State of the NFL podcast. And on tomorrow, we'll be having our first watch along on the podcast. We're going to be watching the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles to open up the 2025 season. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you hit that bell for notifications, and also check out previous episodes that we've done so far, previous videos that we have posted as well. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Saints injury report. I'll go ahead and mention some of the names that landed on the list. The only person that did not practice in any way was Trevor Penning, who's been dealing with a turf toe injury, which stems back from the first preseason game. He left the game, and we know that he's been dealing with that. So him not practicing isn't too much of a surprise. Most people were saying that when they saw him throughout the last couple of weeks, he's been in a walking boot. So it's probably going to take some time in order for Trevor Penning to get back to form and be at 100%. So didn't expect for him to practice or play at all. Limited participation, that is Alontae Taylor, who has been out for 3.5 weeks dealing with a groin injury. He came back to practice in a light capacity. Chase Young, who we'll get into a little bit later, dealing with a calf injury. Christian Boyd dealing with a hand injury, which is no surprise because Kellen Moore, after the game where Christian Boyd was hurt, he basically said that he's going to have to deal with that for quite some time. So I don't think it's going to affect his status of playing, but it might affect him as far as his mobility and his use of the hand there. And also Jordan Howden with an oblique injury landing on the list. One of those guys that probably would be utilized on special teams. Be on the lookout for that. But the most eye-popping name on this list has got to be Chase Young, because we know that Chase Young has been doing some really good things in this offseason. We know the Saints paid him a 3-year deal. He seems like he's happy. A team actually believed in him, had the confidence in him. And you don't want to land on the injury list again, because we know that has been an issue with Chase Young. It hasn't been his ability or his skills. It's been the fact that he hasn't been healthy. And he was able to play the entire 2024 season, which was a plus. And I think that was one of the main reasons the Saints decided to pay him. And now you're going into this 3-4 defense that seems like it would fit his skill set. A lot of players are anticipating what he can actually do to help out the defense, as well as fans and the front office. So it would be a huge blow to this defense if Chase Young is not available. But they're saying that it's not something that is too serious, but it is something we have to keep an eye on. As far as the secondary, Alontae Taylor being back is huge. I expect for him to be a key contributor to the Saints secondary. He'll probably be one of those guys that they're going to be relying on to make plays, tackles, and flying around the field. So him being back is indeed a plus. And once again, with Trevor Penning, like, he hasn't been around for a while. So the best thing about that is you have offensive linemen that have been a part of this team. So they have experience being a part of the starting rotation, rather it's Dylan Radins or if it's Torricelli Simpkins, who is going to fill in for Trevor Penning. So not too much to worry about it when it comes to that offensive line. These guys are pretty familiar with whoever replaces Trevor Penning in that capacity. I took a look at Kellen Moore's press conference, and it just seems like, he's really excited about the season. I know I'm excited about it, regardless of what the New Orleans Saints look like. I think we're all in agreement that we just excited that football is back. They're tweaking some things. They're doing some things that are a little bit new. We've seen the gold end zone, which I haven't seen in, I don't know, forever. And also just, the fact that they're trying to give the fans something to be excited about, rather than a new end zone, gold jerseys. They're trying to show fans that this represents a fresh start. And, a fresh start doesn't necessarily mean that you're just about to just beat the brakes off everybody. It could just be a start of seeing some promising players hit the field, and you can be optimistic about what the future looks like for the New Orleans Saints. But, I expect for them to be competitive. I don't expect for them to lay down to the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be a tough game. And as we get closer to game day, I'll make sure that I break down both teams. But I just think that the Saints are excited about what's going to happen on Sunday, being in the Dome. You got Saints fans that are excited about this. And I'm looking forward to checking it out to see what the New Orleans Saints look like under Kellen Moore in 2025. But let's go ahead and get started reading some of these comments here. We're going to go ahead and start with Michael. Michael, thank you very much. He says, Young missing this game will hurt. I'm kind of paraphrasing that. I get what you're saying, Mike. Thank you very much for the $199. Yeah, I agree. It would definitely hurt. Having him and Carl Granderson on the left and the right side, being able to be disruptive, being able to get pressure on Kyler Murray. We know that Kyler Murray likes to run. He likes to scramble. He likes to make plays outside of the pocket. You got to be able to contain this guy. And, I'm looking at the New Orleans Saints defensive line. Not too many guys can be able to contain a guy like Kyler Murray. So having Chase Young on the outside, being able to control the boundaries, he will be extremely helpful for a mobile quarterback like Kyler Murray, no doubt about that. Strolling up, Jerry says the Saints are winning on Sunday. Well, I like the optimism, man. And I think that they have a chance of winning. It wouldn't surprise me if the Saints win this football game. I just don't like the fact that everybody's just writing this team off. And I get it. You got a bunch of unproven talent. You got a team that's in the process of a rebuild, and you have a general manager which nobody really believes in. And the way that this team is structured over the last few years has been downright disrespectful to the fans. Morale is at an all-time low. But I'm looking at the most optimistic things about this team. I'm looking at Kellen Moore, who I feel like has what it takes to steer the ship. And if it doesn't work out, at least I know he's trying to do it his way. Over the last few months, I think that we all see that Kellen Moore is not a yes man. He is doing things his way. And some of the ideas and views may be considered uncomfortable to some Saints fans. But sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. That's just a fact. In order for you to be able to create change, sometimes you got to do things that may not be popular opinion, like getting rid of JT Gray on special teams. But he has a vision, and he's trying to see what that vision can take this football team. And I have no problem with it. I just appreciate the newness and this just the willingness to try to change a culture and trying to build a culture that resembles you. I have no issue with that, right? But I'm interested to see what Kellen Moore can do on Sunday. I'm not really looking into preseason. I don't think preseason is an indicator of what this offense or defense is going to look like. There's a lot of vanilla offense and defensive plays in preseason. I think you're going to see, a lot of mesh concepts that involve a lot of these wide receivers getting open. Like, these guys can fly around the field, man. And if the Saints can actually turn this thing into a track meet, man, they can exhaust the defense. The Saints have got to be able to be one of those teams that play out front. Like, you want to be able to establish yourself offensively, move the football down the field, put the ball into the hands of the playmakers, score fast, have tempo, and be able to push the ball, and in the red zone, utilize your big body guys like Juwan Johnson and Devon Bailey. And defensively, you want to be able to generate turnovers. This is how I feel like the New Orleans Saints are going to be able to find success in 2025. It's going to have to start with them generating turnovers. Like, I look at this defense, and I don't think that this defense is really strong. Like, I see a bunch of talented guys that are fast and flying around the field, but that secondary, they're going to have to be able to generate some turnovers. And you have a few players in the secondary that are capable of that. And if the New Orleans Saints can be one of those teams that are one of those top teams in turnovers, it can help them and it can serve a purpose. I think about and I'm not comparing this team to the modern day Saints team of 2025, but if you go back and you look at the 2009 Saints, I mean, that defense wasn't the best defense in the world. They just led the NFL in turnovers. You had Darren Sharper, the football player, out there, making plays. He had 9 interceptions that season. Of course, we know about Tracy Porter, catching interceptions. Like, they got the ball back to the offense, and we knew how dynamic Drew Brees was, along with his supporting cast with guys like Lance Moore and Robert Meacham and Marcus Colston and Jeremy Shockey. Like, they were able to push the ball. And then you had Pierre Thomas and Reggie Bush in the backfield. So the New Orleans Saints were able to generate turnovers. The offense was able to capitalize. And if they can replicate that in any way, I think that this can be a really good season. But I think that when it comes down to it, I don't think you have a lockdown, shutdown corner on this team. It's going to have to involve guys, getting the ball and, creating opportunities in order for the offense to be able to get the ball back to generate points. They're going to have to establish short fields in 2025. Like, so that starts with them generating turnovers. Rather it's the defensive line punching the ball out, linebackers punching the ball out or catching interceptions, or the safeties of the cornerbacks generating turnovers. That is how the Saints are going to generate any type of success in 2025. They're going to have to be up there among the top teams in the league when it comes to turnovers. And if they can do that, then I think that can be a start. TJ, I think we need some new training coaches. Why every year our players always hurt? Well, Gregory, we already, have that. I want to say, what's the guy named? Tim Rath or something like that. I can't think of his name, but he's a really well-respected strength and conditioning coach. I mean, from his time in Miami and with the Rams, like, he is one of the top-notch strength and conditioning coaches that you can find. So the Saints already did that. And compared to years past, you have a very relatively short list. Like last season, let me see if I can pull up week 1's injury report from last year. I'm pulling up week 1 injury report from 2024 Saints. All right, just give me a second. I want to kind of compare this to what the New Orleans Saints were looking like last season when it came to injury report. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share this with you all. All right, because I want you to see the comparison of where it was and what it's looking like now. So this was week 1 ahead of the game versus the Carolina Panthers. I mean, look at this list. All right. I want y'all to pay attention to this list. Like, look at the laundry list of players that are on here. All right. You had Pete Warner, shoulder. You had Willie Gay, back. Marshawn Lattimore, hip. Nick Eldaveri, calf. Jalen Ford, hamstring. Dallin Holker, ankle. DeMarco Jackson, calf. Colin Sanders, calf. A.T. Perry, hand. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys, and you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that didn't practice at all and that were out for the entire game. So in comparison to what it was last year compared to this year, I'll take that any day of the week. All right. I'll take that any day of the week. And I know I had the backdrop for the state of the NFL. Cheap plug right there. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. But yeah, man, look, I'll take that. And the guys that are on the injury list, I mean, they still practice. So that's win-win right there. Mike also said, how would you stop McBride? I mean, to be honest with you, you can't really stop Trey McBride. But if I were trying to stop him, I would utilize him kind of similar, I would utilize like maybe like a nickel corner or something like that, or maybe have like Justin Reed like shadow him, but you're not going to be able to stop Trey McBride. He gonna get his plays. Like, he's a big target. He can make plays in the middle of the field. And I want to see, man, can Demario Davis or Pete Warner be able to stop him? So I mean, you just got to you can't stop Trey McBride. You just got to contain him. So if they can contain him by utilizing safeties or maybe even having Alontae Taylor, shadow him in the nickel, that's your best bet. I could think about like maybe back when the Saints played the New England Patriots, and this one's when Jimmy Graham was on a warpath. They ended up putting, if I'm not mistaken, I think they put like Darrelle Revis or something like that on him. It was a key to leave. They put a key to leave on him the entire game. And, they basically, shadow him like he was a number one receiver. So, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that with Kool-Aid because you got Marvin Harrison Jr. out there. So your best bet is maybe to utilize like the nickel corner, or maybe have like Justin Reed, go ahead and just shadow him the entire game. But he going to make plays, man. He going to make plays. There's nothing you can do about that. And I don't want to hear people, man, he out here eating. Like, Trey McBride eats against so many different players, like some of the top secondaries in football. So, I don't think that's an indicator of what the Saints secondary is. It's just the fact that this guy's a very special tight end. He's probably a top 5 tight end at this stage of his career. So, and he probably and he's young. So, over the next 5 to 10 years, he might end up him alongside Brock Bowers like the top tight ends in football if both stay healthy. Man, everyone getting hurt so easily. Can they make it through the year? We need to get on some steroids or something like back in the day. Well, you're gonna have nicks and you're gonna have nicks and bruises, man. That just comes with the territory. That's just what it is. Like, and you can't put these dudes in bubble wrap. I mean, you got to be able to learn how to tackle. You got to be able to have like tackling drills. You got to have padded practices. I mean, it just comes with the territory. Football is not ballet. Like, you can't just sit up there and just have these guys and have like a box that says fragile on there or something. Like, they're gonna get hurt. But at the end of the day, it could be a lot worse. Like, you only have one guy on this team that didn't practice at all. So more than likely, every single player that is on this injury list is more than likely going to be playing on Sunday. So compared to how it was last year, I'll take it. Turf toe doing people dirty for a long time. Modern medicine hasn't figured it out yet. Yeah, man, turf toe is like something serious, man. It sounds like something that's light, but man, it is extremely painful, man. It is extremely painful. Turf toe. Yeah, that's a State of the Saints classic right there. Yeah, turf toe, man. Let's see. Gotta shut down McBride. Let's see. Yeah, you got to shut him down, but it ain't happening, bro. Now, you don't even get your hopes up. Dodge the bullet with Chase Young injury. He should be ready to go Sunday. Yeah, I mean, the calf injury, it don't sound too severe compared to like some of the reports, but you got to keep an eye on it. And I'm pretty sure he'd probably be on the snap count. I would. I don't think he's playing Sunday, Nick Underhill said. I didn't get that from his tweet. It's more like, man, it's something that you just gonna have to monitor. But if he does play, I think that he probably gonna put him on a snap count, which you got a good rotation of players on the edge, that you can actually rely on. So I'm not I won't say I'm concerned, but if he on a snap count and he's out there, maybe he was supposed to play, I don't know, 75, 80% of the snaps, maybe go down to 60, 65. I'm okay with that. Like, if he's out there in like certain situations. Olave got to show he's a number one. The key word of the day Sunday is separation. Well, you got to create plays in order for you to be able to find separation. But like I said, I mean, what Kellen Moore does is he draws up offensive plays to allow his wide receivers to get plays in space. And that's one of the main reasons why people are like wondering, like, why are the New Orleans Saints like utilizing such a smaller players? Like, why they not out here getting big body receivers? The more I think about it and the more I just kind of analyze it, the Saints want to turn this thing into a track meet. That's what it is. Like, they got fast, blazing receivers, over there. Like, these guys aren't the tallest guys, but they fast. And if they can get separation in some of these mesh concepts, like, they can get yards after the catch. And if, you trying to chase them, good luck with that. If you have Rashid Shaheed running down the field, you got a post play or you give him a pass in a flat and there's separation. Kind of similar to, if you think about it, they actually called one of those plays and it worked. If you remember the play that Spencer Rattler, if he would have threw the ball like in front of Shaheed, he would have caught it and it would have been a big time play. And if two things would have happened, maybe the safety would have tackled him or he would have caught the ball in stride and it would have been a touchdown. So the Saints are trying to turn this thing into a track meet. Like, the more I think about it, I'm like, man, why in the world aren't they really that like concerned about getting some big body receivers in here? Like, now I realize what it is. Like, they wanna run. And do not be surprised, like, when you'll see like a lot of deep passes down the field. You'll probably see Olave being more involved in some of these deep passes down the field. You'll probably see Shaheed. You'll probably see Cooks. Like, they're gonna turn this thing into a track meet. At least they're gonna try. Like, that's the main reason I feel you're not that concerned about getting big body receivers in here until like late in the season. Fact, win or lose, just be competitive. That's all I ask for. TJ running a 3-4 and having more linebackers out there should help with keeping Murray contained as opposed to having 4 down linemen. Yeah, I mean, look, you're probably going to end up like most teams run, 11 personnel, which is, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. So most defenses counteract with the nickel, right? I mean, you got 5 corners out there or whatever, so, that's what a lot of teams like to run, but you have different ways that you can actually utilize this 3-4 defense to be able to be beneficial to you. And, having, multiple corners out there, guys that can actually tackle, these linebackers that can be able to not only rush, but be able to move back and be able to play in coverage as well might be beneficial to you also, at the first level. So, like there's so many different ways that you can actually utilize a 3-4 defense, but, it's mostly is about having that big run stopper in the front that clogs up, the front and be able to like demand a double team. So you got Devon Godshaw for that. He's a big body guy. You got Christian Boyd for that. He's a big body guy. So, yeah, I mean, the 3-4 defense should be beneficial to the Saints because you have like guys that are versatile. Like, you don't know if they're going to rush like Kyler Murray or they're going to try to back up into coverage, right? If James Conner coming out the backfield, like you got the linebackers in the second level, but you also have Carl Granderson and Chase Young, backing up. So they're protecting the edge. So if they're running a screen or running just a toss play, they can be able to, they need to be able to control the boundary. So yeah, but yeah, you got different ways you can actually utilize the 3-4 defense. How would you stop McBride? I already mentioned that, Mike. you can't. Like, you can just kind of try to neutralize him and make sure that he just don't wreak havoc all game long. TJ, I'm glad you're excited, but I'm just appreciative football is back in general. I'm looking at this Saints season from a more clinical than emotional standpoint. Let's see, watching young guys develop. Pause. Well, look, I agree with you. You know, I agree with you. You know, I'm look, I already know what the Saints are. If they do anything beyond what we anticipate is a pleasant surprise. And I don't have an issue with being pleasantly surprised by the New Orleans Saints. Not at all. Like not at all. I think that we all want to see this team just be competitive. Like, we don't want them to just get stomped out. And we understand they're probably going to go up against teams that are a little bit more superior, and you're probably going to have a rough outing, right? But you all also want to show a level of competitiveness that is needed in order for you to generate success. You know, I always stem back to the 2006 season, because that was the season to me that indicated that your grandmama Saints were not the same Saints that she used to watch or couldn't watch because the games were blacked out. It was a game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I could just remember the Saints like giving it their all. Like, they was out there fighting and scratching and clawing. And you got to keep in mind, I mean, the Steelers were a really good football team. You know, they just won this freaking Super Bowl, right? And you know, the New Orleans Saints, they played them, and they were just super competitive, man. Like, you know, you had man, what's that guy's name? Man, Willie, what's his name? The running back, what is it? Willie Johnson or Willie Jackson or something like that. Well, Willie Jackson wide receiver. But y'all, he was a running back. It was him and Rashad Mendenhall. And these two guys were just destroying the Saints. Like, they were just eating up yards. But the Saints were like super competitive, man. They were fighting to the very end. And it came down to the final possession, and the New Orleans Saints, you know, couldn't capitalize. Excuse me. And they end up losing Willie Parker. That's his name, Willie Parker. I apologize for that. Willie Parker. All right. I couldn't think of his name. And I thought about it before I even seen this, Ross. But thank you so much, man. Thank you, appreciate it. But at the end of the day, they were extremely competitive in that game. And you know, that just kind of showed, like, man, this is a different New Orleans Saints team. A lot of people say it was the Dallas Cowboys games when Sean Payton played against Bill Parcells. That wasn't it for me. Cowboys weren't never good, no way. To be honest with you, they weren't doing nothing. I mean, we know that Tony Romo was out there padding stats and, you know, fumbling the game away with it bad at both. It was the game versus the Steelers that really showed me that they were a little bit different. And I think that if you play teams like Buffalo, right? You know, if you play teams like Buffalo, everybody expect for Buffalo to just go up in there and just run, and wreak havoc on you. And you know, it's in Buffalo, even though the weather won't be an issue because it's in the fall instead of the winter time. But if you can go out there and be competitive, like, you know, get Josh Allen on the ground, like, make sure that Khalil Shakir doesn't like eat you up in a slide, or Keon Coleman don't, you know what I'm saying, win the 50-50 ball every time, or, you know, you got Cooks out there that's running all over you. Like, if you can show like signs that you can actually go toe-to-toe and make it competitive against a team like Buffalo, I think that it will give Saints fans optimism about what the future holds. But if you just go out there and just get beat to sleep like Belichick in Chapel Hill against TCU, like, it's not going to instill any level of confidence in, you know, in the fan base. And right now, like, you can put gold jerseys on, you can spray paint the stadium touchdown goal line gold. You can, you know, you can open up the training camp to fans. You can do all these things that you feel like are going to be beneficial and build morale. But the biggest thing to build morale is to see a better product. Like, the Saints have been stale as chips left on the counter after 24 hours. Over the last 3 seasons, if I wasn't a Saints fan, I guarantee I wouldn't be watching the games. And people are feeling hopeless and they feel dejected watching their football team. Nobody want to watch the Saints like they watching golf. You know, with the remote in their hand, they dozing off and waiting, you know, for the 18 green. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they waiting on. Nobody wants to watch the New Orleans Saints be boring and stale. People will appreciate the efforts if they go out there and play. Like, everybody don't everybody understand that this might be, a little bit of a process, but nobody want to see this team fumble all over itself week after week with the same old song and dance and mistake after mistake. Like, nobody want to see that, man. Nobody want to see that. Nobody checking for that. Don't want it. Don't need it. Mad Drummer says he needs to slap done icy hot heating pads on and go out there and work. Yeah. Now you got to do something, man. But look, injury is going to happen, man. Can't put these guys in bubble wrap once again. Mad Drum also says we need to evaluate everyone this year. I'll be happy if we get 5 to 6 wins. That's what this is about. This is the evaluation process. You want to be able to know that you're trending in the right direction with some of your draft picks. If some of your young players can flash, that will be a plus. If they don't flash, then you already know what you need to do in 2026. Rattler got to use his legs on the easy yards. I think that you're probably going to see a little bit more Spencer Rattler being able to move around in the pocket and also be able to they probably have some running plays from him and stuff like that too. The way that Kellen Moore is talking. So, I mean, I was checking out an interview that he did with Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio and Chris Sims. And, he was just talking about how they want to utilize Spencer Rattler. And he mentioned them running Spencer Rattler. So you might see Spencer Rattler scrambling or, doing some RPO stuff as well. And don't be surprised if you see Alvin Kamara throw the football this season. Maybe even throw the ball in week 1. Tank 4, LOL, our players aren't going to tank. I'm sure they would look at you crazy for saying we should tank. Anybody that's saying that the Saints should tank after week 1, you just got to get your priorities together, man. I get it. First off, I understand your skepticism. You don't feel like the Saints are trending in the right direction. I mean, why would you after the last 4 seasons of ineptitude? But we got to give Kellen Moore and his coaching staff a chance, man. We can't punish them for the sins of the old Saints regime. Like we can't do that. Like the Saints went out and they hired this guy for him to bring in coaches that can be able to develop players and be able to turn this thing around. And I just, I get the skepticism. I really do. I get people aren't as confident as they were in years past. I get that too. But people are like pinning this coaching staff and conjoining them with the previous coaching staff. And that's what I can't roll with. Like, if you got a problem with Mickey Loomis, justifiably so. But we don't know what Kellen Moore and his coaching staff is going to be able to bring to this New Orleans Saints team. And honestly, looking at the state of the Saints, I can't even judge them based on this season either. That's why I feel like any positive things that they could actually do this season and build on that is a plus for me. Like it's funny because a lot of people just feel like I'm just saying that. Like I was on a NFC South roundtable and people are like, oh man, TJ, he's salty. He just trying to, act like he don't care. Like I don't. Like, because look, here's the thing. If you're stuck in the mud, right, and you try to rev your engine and try to, press on the gas or try to get out of there, but you get deeper and deeper in the mud, why would you keep on pressing on the gas? I think it's time for you to call the tow truck, right? I mean, you got to cut your losses. You can sit up here and make situations worse by having this false sense of reality of what's going on and being borderline delusional, or you can embrace what isn't right in front of you. And that's the thing. When people can't get that rise out of you because you understand where you are, they don't like that. But that's where I'm at. Like, it doesn't make me any less of a Saints fan to feel like, oh, this is an uphill battle, because it's going to be for this team. I just think that, people, trying to, hype it up and make it like, I think the New Orleans Saints are going to be worse or bad as people think? No, I don't. I think that you're probably going to have to really just have a bunch of injuries. Like I'm talking about mass unit, like how it was last year, in order for them not to generate any type of success. I just can't. I can't see 3-4 wins for the Saints. I just can't see it. I can't. I can't. They got too many prideful guys inside of that locker room. They got too many leaders of men inside of that locker room for them to just fall flat. They were just behind the 8 ball. You had a coach that they didn't like, right? And hope was gone, and people just wasn't satisfied in the situation that they were in. But you have a coach now that these guys believe in, and I don't think that is hyperbole either. They believe in Kellen Moore. They understand Kellen Moore because Kellen Moore understands them. Kellen Moore understands the ups and downs of not only being a coach, but a player as well. So when he talks, he's speaking from experience. And when somebody is speaking from experience to you, they've been through what you've been through. They understand what you're actually feeling in real time. It's a different type of vibe. When somebody who has been married for a long time talk to you and tell you, oh man, everything gonna be all right if you go through a dry spell in your marriage, guess what? You're gonna listen versus somebody that's probably been married about 3 or 4 times and probably ain't got nobody right now. It's a different type of energy. When people been in a foxhole, they know what it feels like to go to war. It's hard for you to talk about war if you've never been in a foxhole. So that's something that is beneficial to Kellen Moore. The fact that he has actually been in situations like them. Rather, it's the highs of highs, being one of the best collegiate quarterbacks in college football history, coming out of Boise State, and the lows of lows, being cut 4 times in the NFL. So that kind of stuff right there, guys buy into that. Guys buy into that. So I don't see it, man. I look, there's going to be weeks where it just seems like it just probably not their week because, you know, the talent level or something. But these guys are not going to quit. I just don't see it. Too many powerful guys in that locker room, man. AK is going to have a load from what Kellen said. Yeah, about 70%. Yeah, and he should. Look, I mean, Alvin doesn't have to lead the field. He's kind of like Saquon. Saquon don't have to lead the field. He can catch the ball, run in between the tackles. But you also have to understand this guy's 30 years old, and you can utilize some of these younger players as well, which I feel like they're probably going to end up doing. Because you want to utilize these young players early in the season. So around mid-season towards the end of the season, you're going to need Alvin Kamara down the stretch if you're trying to do anything of any significance. Big and fast for nothing, hurt already. Look, I'm not going into that, man. Chase Young has been extremely effective for the New Orleans Saints. Like, guys are going to get hurt. And we can't get mad because a player gets hurt, man. I mean, that just kind of comes with the territory. And, nobody said that the guy going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks, so, let's just give it a chance, man. Art's definitely staying 2 years now after that game. I mean, he needs to stay in college. But, look, nobody sit up here and told anybody to sit up here and tell individual, oh, he the chosen one. I told y'all, and look, I'm not beating on my chest. I just told you, like, I am a wait and see guy. Like, you can come with a bunch of pomp and circumstance, a tank tuck parade, confetti and fireworks. Look, what can you bring to the table? I want to see it in real time. I have no problem with changing my position about anything, whether it's a team I don't like or a team I do like, a player I don't really pay that much attention to, or a player that I do. Everybody has a right to change the opinions and the narrative of how people perceive them. Arch Manning, to me, hasn't done anything. And that was my whole point. Like, people up here talking about tank for Arch, but what has he done on a collegiate level for you to say that, other than the fact that his last name is Manning? That's it. Like, he has the pedigree. His uncle was a great quarterback. Eli Manning was a really good quarterback. And Archie Manning, he was a Saints great. The reality is you cannot be great by association. And I don't understand why people just don't understand that. Like, just because of what your last name is doesn't mean that you're going to be great. If that's the case, Marcus Jordan should have been the best player in the NBA because his dad was Michael Jordan. Bronny James should be killing in the NBA right now, not flipping between the G League and playing sometimes at home in Los Angeles. Like, you cannot just, like, it's not like cologne, like that little, cologne that you rub on at the department store, right? Just rub on it and smell good. Like, you can smell good no. Like, you got to go out there and put in that work. And I don't think this is an indicator of what his career is going to look like, but it's also reality, man. You can't just go out there, oh man, he about to light it up. No, sir. It's about what you can actually put on the field. What can you put on film? What is your body of work? What are the facts? Only facts that people have is, okay, man, he Cooper Manning's son, Eli and Peyton's nephew. Like, come on, man. You gotta put in that work. And like I said, this could be a completely different conversation. Homie might turn the corner. I mean, who they playing next week? Oh, San Jose State. He might go out there and light it up. But in my opinion, I feel like they should have rolled with San Jose State first. The same way Bryce Underwood was at the big house against New Mexico. He was able to get comfortable being a true freshman. In his first game, he was able to see the field. He didn't have to worry about nobody all up in his face because, New Mexico ain't like that. And he went out there and was comfortable with it. He was able to put forward a pretty decent performance. But the fact that you are the guy and everybody is anointing you as the next big thing, and you go into the horseshoe against Ohio State, and you think you're going to roll over the national champions like that, man, knock it off. Knock it off, man. There's levels to this, and it takes time. But it's not an indicator of what Arch Manning can be. But I just wish people just pump their damn brakes when it comes to trying to find something great. Everybody wants to be the first person. I say this all the time. Everybody wants to be the first person to the club to tell everybody how lit it is. But sometimes you got to let this thing percolate, man. You got to let it marinate. He has all the tools to be a great quarterback, but allow him to do that. And now you have people out there because he's not what you want him to be and you jumped out of the window. Now all of a sudden everybody talking about, oh, man, he may not be what everybody think he is. No. Sometimes it's a process. So I don't have an issue with that, man. Let them stay in school. Let them enjoy college life. Let them stay out there in Austin. Austin, Texas is a very wonderful place, especially, if you're in college or even if you're visiting. It's a really good town to visit. Let that man enjoy his college life before he have to go out here and take on serious problems like us analyzing his play every single week. But he's going to be all right, man. TJ, matter how much of a favorite you are going into a game, you have to prove it. Football is not one on paper. Tell a Falcon fan that. You might fumble, throw a pick, miss a field goal, etc. Anything you can get an L. Yeah, I mean, look, any given Sunday, any team can be any team. I don't care if it's the bottom feeder team going up against the top team. Like, they still have the capabilities of beating that top team, right? I don't care nothing about no paper. I don't care about who you got, what they got, and what they like. I don't care. The only way that matters is if you playing Madden and you simulating your season. So if you got a bunch of guys that's in the 90s and 80s, you'll probably make the playoffs. But we ain't playing Madden and we ain't simulating this thing. You got to go out there and play in between the lines. And you have to prove every single week that you want this win more so than the next person. And if you're not going to do that, then guess what? You're going to lose. And it's also about game plans. It's about strategies. Who comes up with the best strategy? It's chess, not checkers. Chess involves strategy, right? In order for you to be able to beat your opponent. So it's not always about, oh man, we got this, we got that, we got this and that. Okay. And I see teams don't make the playoffs, teams don't win a division, don't live up to expectations when they got this, that, this, and that. You got to play the games, man. Y'all were the ones hyping Arch. I know TJ and I and others were challenging that. Look, I understand the excitement of it, but they just gotta let it wait, man. They got to allow the situation to develop. Like I never bought the hype. I just didn't. Like I look, he's a talented guy. He can make throws. He's way more athletic than his uncles were. He probably like on that same level how his grandfather was. Like Archie Manning was, he was before his time, man. He was scrambling around, and him and Fran Tarkenton, those guys that were playing a quarterback position a little bit different, like in the 70s. But everybody just saw that and was like, oh man, this guy's great. He's the next big thing. Like, I ain't see it. I gotta see it. Like, you can go up against what? I don't even know who they were playing against. Like, all I know is I seen a couple games. I've seen when they played Booker T. Washington one time. And I'm like, most of the guys, like, they team was like superior to the opposition. Like, those guys were huge. They going up against little small, tiny little guys, probably on the JV team. Right, like, man, probably ain't got the right facilities, weight room, strength and condition, none of that stuff. And you out there just lighting it up, and everybody just kind of buying into it. But look, look, you ain't playing Booker T. You playing against Ohio State. And them boys some dogs out there. And they don't care what your last name is. You got to bring it every single week. But he'll probably end up being a top pick. Probably not this season. But I think, like, it's not an indicator of what his career is going to be. He's going to get better. He's going to get better. That's exactly why I'm not the hate and worst team narrative on the Saints. Yeah, I don't concern myself with that type of stuff, Keno. And I don't think anybody should. I think Kellen Moore getting a paid from the Los Angeles Rams greatest show on turf. I mean, it could be. But I think they're gonna be like one of those up-tempo track meet type teams where they just try to push the ball down the field and play with a lot of tempo. Archie didn't have a choice. Running was his only option. Yeah, I mean, he was running for his life. I think everybody remember, if you were old enough to remember, when he got sacked, they just ripped his jersey clean off his body. I'm like, man, that's when it's just like, man, my goodness. Gotta lower them prices at Manning's now on Saturday. I don't think so, man. I think he's gonna improve. I just think that maybe he was a little bit nervous. It kind of got to him, the magnitude of the game. That's why, honestly, I know people was like, man, they already decide who they're gonna play years in advance. But no, it doesn't have anything to do with the schedule, though. They have to play those teams, but you can decide like what week you want to play them. But a lot of the non-conference teams, I know they got to play like week 0 or week 1 or something. But man, that would have been a week tour for me. Like, I would have chose San Jose State first. Beat the brakes off them, build up some confidence, get some good throws in from Arch, and then week 2 he probably goes in with a little bit more confidence and also a little bit more chemistry with his players, and they're a little bit more loose because they won their first game. Sometimes, man, like, when I'm teaching Paxton how to catch, right? And we're working on, like, every time he catches a ball, I move 5 yards back and further and further and further. So I think I moved back to like the 25-yard line, and I'm throwing him like 25-yard passes. And he was trying to catch him, but he couldn't. And he started to get frustrated. So what did I do? I went to him and I said, okay, man, let's just catch a few passes. I gave him a few passes up close that I knew he can catch, right? In order to build up his confidence. So the next time, like, okay, if I drop a pass, it's not that big of a deal because I just caught 5 or 6 passes. Doesn't matter to him, it doesn't matter how close daddy was. It's just the fact that, he caught these passes. You got to be able to build up, the confidence before you start to, like, go into the Lions den. So I don't know if they could have. Well, I feel like they could have. I mean, you Texas, for God's sakes. They should have had a warm-up game like San Jose State or one of these other mid-major schools. Go out there, build up Arch's confidence, and allow him to go into Ohio State a little bit more loose than what he was. Where are you watching the game tomorrow, TJ? I'm watching it from the comfort of my office right here on Montague Street, what I like to call it. Name my office Montague Street after my grandparents' home that used to be on Montague Street, right up in this thing, right up in here. That's when I'm watching the game. And y'all can watch it too. State of NFL live watch along. Dallas Cowboys versus Philadelphia Eagles. Come over and have some fun, man. Is maybe he's not that good. Not yet, at least. But I mean, like, this is his first this is his first major start. Now he play again. What, New Mexico? He played a bunch of teams, man. They was gonna beat the brakes. It didn't matter if he played third string. You probably could have got a wide receiver out there who played quarterback in high school, and they probably would have beat those teams. I mean, I don't think like that. That's where we got to get away from, Lavelle. Sometimes, like we listen to a lot of, and I'm just saying this as a teachable lesson, not so much as a direct, like directed towards you. I'm just saying this in general. What we do is we listen to individuals, hype a person up. We get all excited about it. We get excited about the possibilities of that person. And maybe, I don't know, they might end up on our football team. So we start hyping them up and getting all excited about them. And then when they don't live up to the expectations, all of a sudden, okay, man, nothing to see here, folks. Let's get out of here. We don't allow players to develop. We don't allow them to go through emotions because we ain't got no time for that. Hurry up and be good. That's like if you're not good right away, or you don't give a person something right away that they're looking for, all of a sudden, man, no, they ain't it. We gotta stop that. We kill people's confidence before it even like develops, because we feel like what we're looking at is as if it's a finished product. We're all a work in progress. I don't care. Like, look, we make mistakes every single day. But do we want to be evaluated on our worst moments? Absolutely not. Do we want people to look at us and be like, man, that person right there, man, you seen what they did? And all of a sudden, that's who you are. We got to get away from that stuff, man. Players have to develop. They have got to develop. Like, they're not always going to be Jaden Daniels. They're not always going to be Cam Newton. They're not always going to be guys who come into the NFL and they get it like that. And then all of a sudden, like, okay, let's build something around them. For every Jaden Daniels, they have a quarterback like Josh Allen. Josh Allen, when in his first season, a lot of people look at Josh Allen now, the finished product Josh Allen. But Josh Allen was, in his first season, all Josh Allen had was a 60-yard bomb down the field. He was extremely inaccurate, and he was extremely athletic, jumping over guys' head, scrambling outside the pocket. He was not a polished quarterback. He made a lot of mistakes in his rookie year. But guess what? Look at Josh Allen now. $250 million guaranteed, reigning MVP, knocking on the doorstep of Super Bowls every single year. Now, if everybody would have just looked at him like, all he does is jump over guys' head and run away from the defense. Oh, man, there's nothing there. And then he's inaccurate, too. What if they would have just wrote this guy off? Then who knows? We wouldn't see the greatness of Josh Allen. We have to be able to be patient when it comes to certain situations and not just amplify a person's like negative qualities that they may have while they're trying to polish themselves up so those negative qualities won't trump their good qualities. But we won't allow that to happen. Why should I allow that to happen? Man, I got tweets to tweet out. I got to make this post. I got to make this video, man. I got to get these likes and these follows up. Like, man, look, you don't have to grab at a guy or, make them feel bad about themselves. Like, man, it's okay to respect the process. I just wish that we go back to some of the values that we used to have, man. When people like actually used to give individuals time. Like, everybody like want the finished product right now. Everybody's a work in progress, man. Everyone is a work in progress. You're a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. Like, I don't care. Like, and we don't want to be judged on our worst moments, especially when we know that we have something better to offer. So why would I do that to a player? That's why, like, man, like, I'll criticize a player's like play, but when it comes down to it, like, I ain't just about to unless they like just don't show me nothing. I'm like, okay, man, this ain't it. I try before I really start to like get hypercritical on a player to give them a chance to figure it out, especially a young player. Like, if a young player get beat, people like, oh, man, he sucked. Oh, man, you seen him get beat. Like, dude, in his first season, man, probably wide-eyed, bushy tail, nervous as I don't know what, because of the magnitude of the game, mama watching. Like, let this man figure this thing out. That same player that you criticizing and saying don't have any good qualities about him in his first year, be that same player that you cheering for that gave your team a pick six to win a football game that matters to you. So give these guys a chance. I watched him in high school and didn't think he was that good. That's all I'm saying. Well, look, I mean, I think he's talented, but I don't think he's a finished product yet. And I think a lot of mainstream media, yes, I'm calling them out, hype this dude up. And sometimes folks, a lot of us fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Just because the person that's saying it to us is credible, all of a sudden, oh man, they definitely know what they're talking about. I say it all the time. Like, I appreciate everybody watching this show, but don't even take my word for some of the things. Like, this is opinionated stuff. Some of the things that I talk about are, analytics and all that kind of stuff, that can't be disputed. It's analytics. But do your own research. But people take the credibility of a person. They can join it to some of these hot takes. And they're like, oh, man, such and such said this. Oh, man, they must know what they're talking about. Nah, bruh. Do your own research. Do your own research. I'm always looking like, man, what can this dude bring to the table? Okay, I don't think he's ready yet. What game? Where's that defining moment? Where's that play? Like, where's that? Like, I'll tell you, I'll tell you, okay? Great players, this is how I define them. What's that moment that defined them? Like, what's that moment that told you, okay, man, this player is going to be great, a great college player, a great professional, right? It has to be a moment. Like, to me, when it came to like Cam Newton, close your ears, LSU fans, but was that run that he had against LSU when he stiff-armed guys like Patrick Peterson, who is an all-time great cornerback, and all these other guys in order for him to get into the end zone. That was his moment. That was the moment where people was like, you know what? Man, this dude right here going to be a special player. Like, you have those moments. And I'm just saying, like, when we start talking about, oh, man, this player, he supposed to be number one overall. Like, where's the great moment? Where's the clutch performance? Where's that clutch performance? Like, where's the body of work? Where's that body of work? That's all I'm saying. Like, where is it? For us to be sitting up here calling, like, the term GOAT and great is being used way too loosely these days. Like, we just want to hurry up and give everybody that great tag. Like, man, look, I still got standards when it comes to greatness. Archie got a bigger head start than every quarterback ever. He has a top 5 of all time uncle, another uncle that beat Brady in a Super Bowl, and a grandfather who was a franchise quarterback. I get it's his first game, but look, once again, you can have all those things, but that don't mean that you're going to be great yourself. There's no such thing as great by association. Like, when it comes to sports, there's no such thing as great by association. You can have, like, the grandpa, the uncles, daddy. Daddy was a pretty good wide receiver back in the day for some of my older New Orleanians out there that remember him playing at Newman. But that's not you. That's not you. That's not you. Like, you have to carve out your own path. Like, 2 + 2 isn't 4 when it comes to this situation. Like, oh man, he's going to be great. He got to be great. Nah, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that, man. You got to go out there and carve out your own legacy. Let's see. But come on, those overthrows, underthrows, ain't no excuse for that play. I mean, no excuse, but I mean, he young. He young, man. Like, guys improve their completion percentages all the time. Like, this takes reps. This takes reps, man. I might be a biased Florida State fan, but I think he's going to be special. Are we talking about what's the quarterback name? Thomas Castanolis, I think is his name. Yeah, I think he was pretty good, man. I mean, he confident. Yeah. Castanolis is going to creep up through out the season, become a top draft pick. His stock going to rise. I'm calling it now. That kid got the it factor. I got to see more from him. I mean, I think he was a good Boston College quarterback. Of course, he transferred to Florida State. But one thing that he has momentum on his side right now, Camp. He has momentum. I mean, you go out there, his quote is being like posted everywhere. That quote that when they went into the game versus Alabama saying Nick Saban isn't there to save you anymore. And he goes out there and has a really good performance. But look, Alabama sucks. Like that's just what it is. Like Alabama's soft as cottonelle tissue. They're not the same Alabama. The NIL and the fact that you have other teams out here with bankrolls now or drying these boys up. Caleb DeBoer is not a good not a good coach for SEC football. To me, I think he's probably going to end up being fired. They're going to eat that $70 million because we know that Alabama don't play that ish when it comes to the losses. Like they just don't. Like one loss, they ready to, jump off the top of Tuscaloosa. You know what I'm saying? Like they stayed in Brian Denny. Like they do not like to lose. And it just, they're not the same. Like beating Alabama these days is not as like like they're a powerhouse still, but only by name right now. They're not a good football team. They soft. Like you got guys quitting. You got guys like giving up on plays, getting stiff on. Like, man, look, you can hate Alabama all day, but tough they always were. Soft they were not. All right. They're not a good football team, man. They need a new coach, and they need to get back to the things that made them great. But Caleb DeBoer just turned them boys into I don't know, some goo, soft. TJ, with the injury to Chase, is there any chance we call up a Jasheen Davis? Could be. I mean, I mean, if he don't play, you're probably going to end up calling up somebody to be able to be on a 53. So yeah, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I don't want to jump to conclusions, and it may be one of those situations we might have to be on the snap count. TJ, this is a microwave generation. Players aren't allowed to have bad games, aren't allowed to develop, and have to win every week. Otherwise, they're trash. Give me a break. Yeah, I mean, we don't have the patience like we used to, man. We don't have the patience like we used to, because everybody's like ready to like jump on a hot topic, right? Nobody wants to like allow it to develop. And you have such a saturated world, and I'll get to you, ACAM, in a second. You got such a saturated world when it comes to news and information. Like you can just say any off the wall thing, and then it's just going to get swept through the tea leaves, because information is just constantly being given to you on social media. Like so many different things are in your face. It's to a point where it's hard to even process. So you can just go say some type of off the wall comment. In a couple of weeks, nobody can even remember what you said, unless you bring it up yourself or if somebody trying to hold you to it. But at the end of the day, it's like nobody really cares. People just talk. Let's see. Castanos, let's see, called his game. Bama was ranked 8. Florida State wasn't ranked, but I do agree. I got to see more. Nick Saban ain't coming back to save them. Yeah, look, Alabama is not the same Alabama. I'm sorry. Shouts out to my boy Kerry. If you're watching this right now, a proud graduate of Alabama. That's my guy right there. But it is the thing. They not good. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just not, and this is not speaking from a place of someone that grew up in Louisiana. It has nothing to do with that. Like they just not a good football team. They soft. They are soft, man. They are soft. They are not there. Like this is like early 2000 Alabama for me right here. This is like John David Booty, Alabama. And I think it's apropos that his name is Booty, and I'm describing this because that's what they playing like. Absolutely booty. That's what it is. Terrible. They're not a good football team right now. So they're going to have to figure it out. And I don't think it's going to change, man, until they get a new coach up in that thing. You know, Dabo Swinney was on the sidelines, you know, looking a little bit concerned at Clemson. Maybe, you know, it's time for him to go to Alabama. Maybe a change of scenery or something. Do you think Kool-Aid going to bring the juice going against Marvin Harrison? No, I don't. I don't. Like, I think that Kool-Aid is going to improve as a corner, but he's not a lockdown corner to me. Like, and you know, I think that Marvin Harrison gonna be able to make some plays. That game against like Cortland Sutton, like that kind of made me nervous. Like, that just made me nervous, man. The way that Cortland Sutton was just out there, just man, he was ripping Kool-Aid to shreds, man. And I'm talking about they were calling some pretty simplistic offensive plays out there, and he was just tearing this dude up, ripping him to shreds. And Marvin Harrison, to me, is a better wide receiver than Cortland Sutton. I think that he'll win some, and he gonna lose some too. Strap in, Who Dat Nation. It is like, to me, Kool-Aid McKinstry he looking like Tracy Porter to me. And here's the thing, like, now I want to make this very clear. There's nothing wrong with Tracy Porter, but Tracy Porter would be up and down. Like, there would be some games where he looked like, man, dang, Tracy Porter out here balling. And then they had other games where it's just like, ain't Tracy. You know, so that's what you about to get with Kool-Aid. Do not allow the presence of a Marshawn Lattimore and being that lockdown corner he was throughout his time with the Saints blind you to the fact that this guy is not Marshawn Lattimore. He's not. He gonna win some matchups. He gonna lose some matchups. And it's gonna, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a roller coaster of emotions. It's gonna be a roller coaster of emotions. He gonna win some matchups. He gonna lose some matchups. But it's gonna be a roller coaster of emotions, in my opinion, watching Kool-Aid McKinstry. John David Booty played at USC. You may be talking about John Parker Wilson. What was the booty guy? What was the booty man? That's a booty man. What's that? No, okay. Nah, you right, though. Yeah, John Parker Wilson. Thank you, Carl. John Parker Wilson. And, you know, I mean, but, you know, I wish he did, because it would have made my little speech a little bit more compelling and funny. But yeah, John Parker Wilson, he was on the team. I'm thinking about General Booty. But he played at Oklahoma, right? General Booty. What a name. TJ, are we getting Asante Samuel Jr.? Look, I think Asante Samuel Jr. got way more things to be concerned about other than football right now, like his neck and his health, man. So, I mean, I would love to see the Saints sign Asante Samuel Jr. if he passes a physical and, you know, his neck issues won't affect him long term. I'm all for that. I'm all for it, man. If he gets us to the Super Bowl like Tracy Porter did, I'll take it. Porter is a legend. Yeah, Porter is a legend, but just the Super Bowl presence sometimes, you know, cloud us from the roller coaster of emotion Tracy Porter sometimes puts Saints fans through on Sundays. TJ, are we already read that? In my Vince McMahon voice, what the hell is going on out there? Oh, Vince Lombardi. I said Vince McMahon. My goodness. It's about that time to I don't know. I seen the comments and I'm looking like, man, Vince, like, and I just roll with it, man. But Vince Lombardi, what the hell's going on out there? Marshawn had bad games. Also, Kool-Aid will be all right. Yeah, Marshawn had bad games, but Marshawn had more good games than bad games. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put it to you like this. It's always a good thing when you can remember the bad games that a cornerback had. Like, I can remember, like, him going up against Justin Jefferson, and when they played in the UK. I can think about going up against Minnesota with Adam Thielen. Like, you can, like, you know the bad games that Marshawn Lattimore played. Like, you know them. And the reason why you know them, is because there were few and far in between. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like, you wouldn't even, like, that's a testament to a player's greatness when you can remember the bad games that they had, because it's an outlier. You're so shocked that it happened. So to me, it's like, like you can remember the bad game. Like you can remember Darrelle Revis out there getting worked by Randy Moss. Why? Because Darrelle Revis didn't get worked by a lot of players. You can remember when Deion was going up against Andre Rison, because he didn't, when he went up against Jerry, it was a completely different story. The fact is, like, when guys are great, like, you remember their bad games because they're outliers. TJ, the Ravens signed JT Gray. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, they signed him to their practice squad. TJ, are you going to any Saints game? Yeah, absolutely. I actually was going to go to this game this weekend, but I ended up deciding a little bit too late, and so I was like, man, I'll just go ahead and miss this one. But I plan on coming to a few games this season. And shouts out to the Little Easy, man. Most of the games, I'm probably going to be there. I was supposed to be there this weekend, but like I said, when I come to town, I will be at the Little Easy. Shouts out to the Little Easy. They're always extremely kind to me, opening up their doors, allow me to be able to do the podcast there. Shouts out to, Hoodie and Zach and Chosen, came through the spot. And hopefully, once I get down there, I want to have a meet and greet at the Little Easy, man. So we'll arrange that, and that's going to be coming really, really soon. So yes, I plan on coming to some games. I plan on coming to quite a few games this season, man. So be on the lookout for your boy, man. Let's see. What up, TJ? How you think we look in the opener? I think that you're going to have a competitive football team, Big. I think that they're gonna look like something. I don't know, I'm saying they're going to win, but if they don't win, I think it's going to be a game where, Saints fans going to be optimistic about the season. Go to the Seattle game, front row, section 114. Man, that's a game that I would love to go to. Like Seattle, man, what a beautiful place. What a beautiful place, man. What a beautiful place. Let's see, TJ, you taking Andre Johnson or D-Hop at your wide receiver number 1? Man, that's kind of tough, man. But both guys are extremely underrated as players. But I would go with Andre Johnson, man. Andre Johnson had a good combination of speed, really good hands, and disciplined route running, So I would go with Andre Johnson. No disrespect to D-Hop. Like, D-Hop is the type of wide receiver I can appreciate. Wasn't not the fastest guy in the world, but he catches everything, man. Like, just something about those type of players, man. They always they a key to my heart, man, because it's everybody's looking for the fast, flashy guy, and nobody really pays attention to the disciplined route runners no more. TJ, are you going to the Jackson State at Southern Miss Saturday? No, I am not. The only Jackson State game I'm probably going to be going to is the one a homecoming, and probably after that one, I'll probably go to the Saints New England Patriots game that they have inside of the dome. That's the only game that I'm going to is homecoming. Shouts out to the Jackson State Tigers. Love watching them on TV. They got the victory against Hampton last weekend. The HBCU national champs. But yeah, I'm going to homecoming. Shouts out to my boys, man. TJ, you coming to Charlotte when we play the Carolina Kitty Cats? As a matter of fact, I plan on coming there regardless. Already signed up for my media credentials, speaking with the Carolina Panthers representatives. I was actually supposed to be coming there as a part of the media last year, but they ended up filling up the spots before I actually submitted my form. So I plan on coming to the game regardless, man. Rather it's being in a crowd or being a part of the media. Everybody, regardless, man, I'm gonna go to that game. I mean, that's close. So I mean, ain't nothing but a 3-hour trip. So definitely want to go to that game. TJ, is Andre, let's see, they've that archetype, big body, physical receiver like Julio. Not really, man. I mean, they kind of cut from the same cloth, but Julio was just way more athletic, man. Julio Jones and Megatron, those guys are freaks of nature, man. To be as tall as they are and just be as athletic as they were. So yeah, I think if I can, like, I'm trying to see Andre Johnson. If you can have an appreciation, like, he remind me of Andre Reed. Like, if you remember, like, the Buffalo Bills wide receiver back in the day, like Andre Reed, like had a really good combination of speed, really good hands, and really good route running, man. That's who he reminds me of. Ironically, they're both named Andre, but yeah, that's kind of like, when it comes to, like, DeAndre Hopkins, he kind of reminds me of, like, the Terrell Owens type. Like I said, those guys that were just, just caught everything. Like, they just caught everything. They are a dime breed to me, because everybody want flash and pizzazz, but ain't nobody really appreciate that footwork. TJ Jones 2 times. Bet that I'll be there. Let's say I remember, dude, Julio ran a 4.3 thing. Yeah, ran a 4.3. And some people say he ran a 4.2 at a pro day. So yeah, man. Julio was a beast. Except when he played Marshawn Lattimore, which I think we all glad that was the case. I'll take a few more, and then I'll go ahead and get up out of here. It says, TJ, do you think Parsons will have an impact on Green Bay's defense? Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like he'll have an impact. Like, man, Michael Parsons is a freak. Like, he's a freak of nature, man. Like I keep using that term, but we're talking about, like, just super freakishly athletic guys. Like, yeah, I do feel like he's going to make an impact. Think he needs to put a little bit more emphasis on a run. I think that's his biggest issue, is the fact that he doesn't really put that much emphasis on a run. So a lot of people, like, kind of run at him because they don't respect his ability to be able to stop the run. But when it comes to the edge rush, man, he capable of getting 20 sacks in a season. Laddie used to give him problems. Yeah, he used to. But those hamstring injuries, in my opinion, kind of caught up with Marshawn. But hopefully, man, he has a better season. I think you'll see a better version of Marshawn. Marshawn was dealing with some serious hamstring issues, man. Like, from what his representation told me, and just stuff going on behind the scenes, dude. Like, I just respect him for being out there. Like, seriously, I respect, like, if you knew what was going on with dude, like, the fact that he was actually out there and put himself in that position to be criticized the way he is, I ain't got nothing but respect for dude. TJ, who are you taking, Anquan Bolden or Julius? Look, I'm always going to choose Anquan Bolden. This dude one of my favorite wide receivers ever. Yeah, he one of my favorite wide receivers ever. Like, man, the physicality that he played with. Like, Mr. Third, I call him Mr. Third and Short, man. Like, just throw it his way, man. You about to get a first down. Like, that's my guy right there, Anquan Bolden. Like, I'm always going, look, Marvin Harrison, Anquan Bolden, like, those, like, two of my top favorite receivers of all time. Like, I know people like, man, Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. Like, look, I love Randy Moss. Like, man, I used to love playing football and, and jumping up, catching the ball over somebody's head, talking about getting mossing somebody. But, man, I love disciplined route runners, and physical receivers, like ones that not the fastest, because I have an appreciation for that, because it takes them so much effort to be able to get off the line of scrimmage, be able to use their strength and their body in order for them to catch the ball. That's why I like tell people all the time, like, man, Michael Thomas was a special receiver, because dude wasn't the fastest person in the world, and you know what he was about to do, and you still couldn't stop it, because he had a good combination of speed, good footwork, and great hands. And I'll throw Chris Carter in there too, man, who Michael Thomas kind of reminds me of. OBJ and Doug Baldwin are underrated route runners. I don't think OBJ is as underrated as Doug Baldwin was. And Tyler Lockett too. Throw my boy Tyler Lockett in there too. Shout out to them after show boys and after show girls. Yeah, shouts out to all the after show boys after show girls out there.
Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show boys. Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting and be posting. They be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys.
Shout out to all the after show boys and after show girls out there. Go ahead and get up out of here, man. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Want to give a special shout out to all the people that's watching this right now. Look, man, mental health is extremely important to me, as you all know. I'm very open about my struggles with mental health throughout my lifetime. The month of September is Suicide Awareness Month. You know, there's so many different people who deal with these type of thoughts, man. You know, not feeling like they're good enough, not feeling like their efforts in life are meaningful, but, you know, just to know that, you know, you matter. And, you know, it is about spreading awareness. A lot of people, you know, they get into this social media stuff sometimes, and it can put you in a dark place, man. So the most important thing, you know, is about, you know, making sure that you have a clean bill of mental health. Like, man, make sure that you take a good look in the mirror and understand who you are as a person. Don't allow like certain things like comments and different opinions of people that don't even really know you to define who you are. Know who you are inside and have an appreciation and love for yourself, man. That's where it starts. All right. So we want to make sure that individuals are loving themselves, appreciating their existence, and understanding too that if something was to happen to you, that somebody in this world is going to really care and it's going to crush them. So we spreading awareness, man. We definitely spreading information about mental health. Make sure that you you know, do things to try to make sure that you are in the right state of mind. All right. And that's a little message here from the State of the Saints podcast. So thank you all so much. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you follow me on X at TJAYJones8. No video tonight for the state of the NFL, but we're going to make up for it. We're going to have a live watch along on the State of the NFL podcast. And I'm going to go ahead and take a brief second and go ahead and put that link for the new channel inside of the comments. And I just ask that you check it out. We're talking about some of the hottest topics in the NFL. And we're going to have that watch along, Dallas Cowboys versus Philadelphia Eagles week 1. Come on over. I know it's not people's ideal game, but especially being Saints fans, but we're going to talk about it, man. We're going to break it down. Hopefully they give us some level of excitement. Hopefully they give us something that, you know, that gets us, you know, looking forward to the games that are going to be on Sunday. I remember the game last year where it came down to Isaiah Likely foot in the back of the end zone, like by an inch. The Baltimore Ravens end up losing that football game. So hopefully they can give us some level of excitement to get us started for week 1. All right. Appreciate it. Much love to you. Trade better late than never. And until next time, all I got to say is, who that?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who that?